Hello there, Mad Mike here, and welcome back to the channel. And today, unfortunately, we do not have good news. Unfortunately, we have another death video, and I apologize for not getting to this yesterday. I didn't know about it until later last night. I didn't see it. And I figured it would be better to compose myself and do it today. And that is that Alex Trebek, the host of Jeopardy, has passed away at the age of 80 from his battle with, I believe it was pancreatic cancer. He was diagnosed March of 2019 with the disease, and after a little over 18 months, he has succumbed. So there's a lot here. And this is the thing, is 99% of people know him from Jeopardy, as do I. That's where I was first introduced to Alex Trebek as a game show host. He had done a lot of shows in the 70s and stuff before he had started on Jeopardy in 1984. He had done an early iteration of Double Dare before it was recycled and put back on a Nickelodeon and a few other things. It was a very, very different show at the time, among several other game shows that were not as well received. But the thing is that the one consistent thing about those shows was that people really did like Alex Trebek. And eventually they found the right fit with Jeopardy. And that is the show that propelled him into stardom. That propelled him into a household name, because people would sit down in prime time and they would watch Jeopardy. And I loved Jeopardy. I honestly, when I was a kid, I used to love watching that show because I used to love trying to guess the answers. Not guess the answers, but see if I knew the answers, play with the contestants. It was one of those things that it was so fun to play at home with other people. I remember I used to play it a lot with my parents and my grandparents and stuff like that. It used to be fun when you were a kid. Even when I was older, it was still kind of fun to watch because it was interesting to see how much of it I actually knew, because a lot of the subjects were very, very much, they were eclectic. They were not eclectic, but they were very diverse subjects. It wasn't like a themed show. There wasn't, all the questions weren't about one subject. It was so many different things. And I liked that aspect of it. I liked Alex Trebek in that role because he was charismatic. He would play with the contestants, in terms of, the back and forth and stuff like that. Him and Pat Sajak really owned that 1 hour of television on CBS. I believe it was CBS. And together with Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy just kind of took over that time slot, and it never left. It's unfortunate that we had to lose him, but we have so much that's left of him from all of those shows that he did. I think literally thousands of episodes of Jeopardy. And that's the other thing, is that Alex Trebek from Jeopardy has he gravitated himself into the mainstream, into cameos in films. I think everybody remembers the Jeopardy SNL skits where Will Ferrell is playing Alex Trebek, and I forget the actor who's playing Sean Connery. Ironically, Sean Connery died 8 days before Alex Trebek. That's actually kind of creepy to me. But the whole thing, suck it, Trebek, all that stuff. That stuff is hilarious. And Will Ferrell does a great job at playing that deadpan kind of serious, composed tone that Alex Trebek might take to something like that. But that's the thing, is that he was. A lot of people like to just boil it down to he hosted a game show. I don't think that's what it is. I think that he himself made that show as entertaining as it was. Because, yeah, you had the contestants and you had the back and forth and stuff like that, but the way that he would but the way that he would deliver a lot of those questions and the way that he would go, you never heard him slip up. Almost. It was so rare to ever hear him do that. And I realize it's a tape show, but at the same time, a lot of that was live at the time, and they would have had to edit around it. So I honestly, I really enjoy the format that Jeopardy had too, because it upped the stakes as you went along. And I'm more talking about the show than Trebek, but the thing is, Alex Trebek really kind of, especially in his later years, when he was more open with the public about various things. I can't remember if this was his second or third cancer diagnosis. I'm pretty sure he had been through cancer before. And he had kept hosting the show. That's the other thing, is he's kind of like the Cal Ripken of game show hosts, if you really want to think of it that way, because he hosted Jeopardy for so long, over 30 years, almost 40 years. He hosted the show for 36 years. And for anybody to do something like that, the only person I would probably put up there would be probably somebody like a Pat Sajak or a Bob Barker. Which ironically, Bob Barker is still alive. I hope I didn't just jinx that. But outside of the game show, Alex Trebek was a philanthropist. He donated a lot of money. He would go out and speak with people and speak at places and do stuff like that. And there was actually kind of a touching tribute in one of the more recent shows that he had filmed, where one of the contestants had stated that he's the reason why he learned certain things. He remembered watching Alex Trebek in Jeopardy when he was a kid with his grandfather. Again, kind of a lot like I did, and it was a special experience. And that's the thing, is that it was something that even though a lot of us never met him in terms of like being in his presence physically, he was in people's living rooms every single night. And it's kind of like, it's a little bit like Regis Philbin from earlier this year. Regis Philbin was somebody who took over like that morning spot, in television. He was always there every day, morning TV. I forget which, mornings, and then in addition to that, also the game show circuit, obviously with Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. But, the morning show stuff with him and Kelly Ripa and Alex Trebek was kind of almost the nighttime version of that. He was in your living room at night, and it when people keep viewing other people on television regularly, they feel like a little bit, in a sense, that they know them, that they're part of their lives in some way, whether that person knows it or not. And the difference, I think, between Alex Trebek and a lot of other people is Alex Trebek very much embraced that idea. He was very friendly with people. Maybe that comes with the natural, Canadian demeanor, I guess. Ryan Reynolds reached out to him because he actually has a cameo in the movie Free Guy, which has actually just been delayed until next year. But I did a trailer breakdown of that. They actually have his cameo in the trailer, by the way, but or part of it anyway. But he was nice enough to be in that. He's been in other films too. He mostly cameos as himself. He doesn't really act per se. But I shouldn't say didn't really act. But that's just that's just kind of the person he was through and through. For a lot of people, being nice is an act. For a lot of famous people, I don't know specifically, but a lot of them, being nice to other people in certain ways is an act. It didn't feel like it was an act with Alex Trebek. It felt like it was very genuine. And I think that's why he came off so wholesome and so inviting to a lot of people on television, was because he was somebody who was, he was somebody that you wanted to welcome into your home. He was somebody that he was very nice. He was kind of like that nice next door neighbor that you see all the time. Maybe he mows your grass when you're on vacation, that kind of thing. Maybe I'm going a little bit too deep into that, but it is sad. It is sad to see him go, and I can't imagine anybody else filling that role. I can't imagine anybody else hosting Jeopardy at this point. I personally think they should, if they can't find somebody that they legitimately think should fill that role, then I think they should probably end the show. And that is sad to think about, because the show has been on for a very long time, as I've said. But I think that, Price is Right, for instance. Bob Barker retires, you get Drew Carey. People seem to respond fairly well to Drew Carey, and he's been on the show since then, which I think has been over 10 years now. If you can find somebody like that to replace Alex Trebek, who's friendly and welcoming, and reminds, basically kind of, not somebody who's going to be a a stand-in for Alex Trebek, not somebody who's just going to, go through the motions and try and be like him, but somebody who's in the same type of vein, somebody who's friendly, somebody who's inviting, somebody who's going to make audiences feel at home when they watch the show. I think that's the person that should replace Alex Trebek, because those were his best qualities as both a game show host and a person. But like I said, this is a sad day for entertainment. It's something that maybe we didn't necessarily think wasn't going to happen, but at the same time, it's still sad that it did. And I hope people enjoy the last shows that he filmed, because I believe those are still airing right now, or they're airing currently. So enjoy the last appearances we have from Alex Trebek. Enjoy the reruns. Enjoy all of it, because Jeopardy will never be the same again. But I want to know your thoughts. What do you remember most from Alex Trebek in terms of his both his career and his philanthropy, personal life, and anything like that? Maybe your favorite Jeopardy memory, if you have one. Put it in the comments below. As usual, I like to read them. Hit the bell for notifications. Hit the like button. Subscribe, and remember, I live my life free of compromise. Do you?